It's the voices for the voiceless, different points of view and different choices. We the voices for the voiceless. Voices for the voiceless. Yeah. It's the voices for the voiceless, different points of view and different choices. We the voices for the voiceless. Voices for the voiceless. Yeah. It's the voices for the voiceless, different points of view and different choices. We the voices for the voiceless. Voices for the voiceless. Yeah. It's the voices for the voiceless, different points of view and different choices. We the voices for the voiceless. Voices for the voiceless. Yeah. It's the voices for the voiceless, different points of view and different choices. We the voices for the voiceless. Voices for the voiceless. Yeah. It's the voices for the voiceless, different points of view and different choices. We the voices for the voiceless. Yo, peace and blessings to everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Check one, check
Yeah.
two. That's girl in the building.
What up?
Think I gotta turn my mic on. Probably a problem. 1 second, child. 1 second, child. Yo. Okay, am I clear now?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. My bad. I can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hear me?
Okay, now I can
You
hear
hear
you.
me?
That was yeah. My bad
Okay,
for the technical difficulties that was on my end.
it's
How you
all
doing
good, bro.
this? How you doing this afternoon? How you doing this afternoon, sis?
I'm good. I'm
That's
doing
what's
good.
up.
I can't complain.
I know that's right. We got her in the building. Okay, she can
What
hear
up,
me fine.
sis?
What up? What up? Yeah, so you know, it's good that we had these midday conversations and we wanted to come on to discuss something that was very important that the mainstream media is ignoring. And like the title says, on the brink of World War III, what mainstream media is not telling us. And as we know right now, the president, Joe Biden, has just to get straight to it, has sent an executive order out the blue to with 2 months left of his presidency for Ukraine to use United States issue missiles to attack Russia while they are been going through a proxy war for the past 2 or 3 years, which just was insane. Okay, we got Big Bang in the building. What up? What's up? What's up? We were supposed to come live last night. Big Vi gave me a call like, man, I'm ready. I was like, man, bro, I don't know. It was just too much going on, but we able to make it happen. We able to make it happen this afternoon. So I'm glad to be here with y'all. So without further ado, I want to kind of just give a refresher. You know, Joe Biden escalated tensions by giving Ukraine the green light to send U.S. missiles into Russia. Man, as I'm loading that up, sis, that was just kind of peculiar. What do you say about that?
Yeah. Well, it ain't surprising to me because I I just like I've always said, and I continue to say, he's not running anything. I know people may disagree with me, but I think that you know we were already in at the break of World War III, and I think they were just trying to get the ball rolling before Trump gets in office, and um, obviously that's what he's doing. So we just all got to kind of be prepared, be watchful, know that we can't get the information from the mainstream media because they're not talking about it. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I got a video right here that kind of illustrate what you were just saying. It's a senator says this has gone too far. Putin putting begs Trump to intervene to avoid World War III. So this is a senator right here speaking on this platform, and we're gonna get straight to it.
I knew you would have an insider perspective that would be interesting. Um, is there worry there in DC that Biden may be intentionally making things bad for Trump with Russia and Ukraine before he can even get into office?
Yeah, exactly. Different things, right? You have the war in Ukraine where it seems he's making things worse before the next guy comes to office. I mean, how do you explain that you will give Ukraine permission to strike deep inside Russia when you have only 2 months in power?
Now that's what we were just talking about, and I know since you had you feel like Joe Biden doesn't have much, control over what's going on. I tend to agree with that. Although I don't hold him to any. He still has a lot of responsibility from my standpoint. From my vantage point, I think he has a lot to do with it on a spiteful level. And the only reason that I say that is that if you go back to the beginning of his presidency, the first thing he did when he got into office was reverse majority of what Trump put into play from the very beginning. So I think a lot of that was out of spite. You know what I'm saying? But be that as it may, fast forward into this situation, like he said, a lot of people now he's in Senate and he's saying that he feels as though he's making it difficult for the next guy, regardless if it's Joe Biden or the deep state or whoever is behind it. It's just unfashionable that he would push a button like that with 2 months remaining in his presidency to hand it over, which should be a peaceful transfer of power. But it seems like you're handing over a whole catastrophe in the brink of World War III.
And the next guy,
Yeah.
we have 4 years to fix the mess that you've created. That's the first thing. The second thing they are doing in DC now is to confirm all the judges and to make sure they have as many judges as possible. There are still like 20 or 20 something of them that they want to quickly confirm before President Trump comes to power. It's their right. They have the right to confirm judges while they have power. But the reason they are doing that is they claim officially to protect democracy and ensure that because President Trump can remove them when he gets in January, and so they are rushing to confirm them. And also we understand that they are trying to rush to appoint a certain number of people and take some measures that will make it difficult for him to change the status quo here in Washington, D.C. when it comes to power. I think the advantage that he has is because he won such a big election where he not only won the White House, but the GOP was able to win the Senate and the House at the same time. So I think that is going to be a great and interesting thing to watch and see how he will be able to achieve a lot of things that he might not have achieved the first time.
Yeah, so I mean, we pretty much gets the gist of what he's saying. They're trying to like make it very difficult, you know, regardless of who's in power. They're trying to make it very difficult for him to create peace, you know, with the war. They're trying to implement the judges, certain judges, to get things that they don't want implemented to go by, and you know, just handing over him a powder cake, so to speak, politically. So that was just kind of a refresher, and also what the main thing, the mainstream media. This next video is going to be very it's going to be very important for people to pay attention to, that I'm going to present the reason we've been interested in Ukraine. You know, that this is really gets down to the nitty gritty for why we even down there to begin with. Sending, you know, you hear all this stuff in the mainstream media. We're sending $14 trillion over to Ukraine. We're doing all this stuff in Ukraine, and one would like to know the reason why. And this video is really going to illustrate why. And you know, me and you and sis and Anisimo and I'm her. We've been talking about this a lot. So I think that it's instrumental that people get a full understanding of what's going on here. One second.
They're sitting on 10 to 12 trillion dollars of critical minerals in Ukraine. They could be the richest country in all of Europe. I don't want to give that money and those assets to Putin to share with China. If we help Ukraine now, it can become the best business partner we ever dreamed of.
A U.S. senator has said the quiet part loud and warned that the West cannot afford to lose the war in Ukraine, because he said Ukraine is a gold mine that has 10 to 12 trillion dollars worth of critical minerals that the West needs. And this
fast. Now that's important to note. Let's take that back a little bit.
I don't want to give money and those assets to Putin to share with China. If we help Ukraine now, they can become the best business partner we ever dreamed of.
So if we help Ukraine right now, they'll become the best business partner. And why would they become the best business partner? This guy's going to illustrate.
U.S. senator has said the quiet part loud and warned that the West cannot afford to lose the war in Ukraine, because he said Ukraine is a gold mine that has 10 to 12 trillion dollars worth of critical minerals that the West needs. And this U.S. Senator, Lindsey Graham from the Republican Party, he insisted that the West must continue sending more and more.
I'm just saying, all this over some land and minerals, that's part of it. But pay attention.
More weapons to Ukraine in order to protect these minerals and prevent them from falling into the hands of Russia and, by extension, China. Lindsey Graham made these comments in an interview on CBS on June 10th. By the way, a quick note for context. He began this clip talking about how Donald Trump provided weapons to Ukraine as loans. That is, that Ukraine had to pay the U.S. back for those weapons. So the content.
So we're supplying them with our U.S. dollar by the trillions and with U.S. weapons in exchange for what?
Context of this clip is that Lindsey Graham is strongly implying that Ukraine should pay the West using its minerals to pay for the billions of dollars of weapons that they have given to Ukraine.
What did Trump do to get the weapons flowing? He created a loan system. They're sitting on 10 to 12 trillion dollars of critical minerals in Ukraine. They could be the richest country in all of Europe. I don't want to give that money and those assets to Putin to share with China. If we help Ukraine now.
Whoa, wait a minute now. What did he say? I don't want to give that money and resources to Putin to share with China. Now, who came out when President Donald Trump was elected president this past November 4th? China and Russia came out and said that they wanted to what? End the war with Trump. Now, this guy is saying that he doesn't want Russia and China to get the access to the minerals in the land in Ukraine.
Now, they can become the best business partner we ever dreamed of. That 10 to 12 trillion dollars of critical mineral assets could be used by Ukraine and the West, not given to Putin and China. This is a very big deal how Ukraine ends. Let's help them win a war we can't afford to lose. Let's find a solution to this war. But they're sitting on a gold mine to give Putin 10 or 12 trillion dollars of critical minerals that he will share with China is ridiculous.
Now, these remarks are very revealing because for years, the United States has claimed that it must support Ukraine in order to protect democracy. Now, this is despite.
Now that's what they put out there in the media. We must protect Ukraine. We wondering why we have such an interest in Ukraine. It's about the oil, the minerals that they have over there. We're trying to purchase their country, so to speak. So our competitors can't get it. So Russia can't get it. So China can't get it. We'll have control of the oil and minerals. Just think about how many people's lives have been lost by proxy war. And we're instigating, sending missiles to Ukraine. Now they're right on the border of each other. Ukraine used to be a part of Russia. They're right next door, just like Canada is right next door to us. And Mexico is right next door to us. So when we're doing all that to push Russia out, Russia's taking it like, okay, you butting in our business. This our little brother, but you're instigating the war. So this is getting to the nitty-gritty of why. It all boils down to money.
Despite the fact that the Ukrainian government has been very undemocratic, back in 2022, NPR reported that the Ukrainian leader Vladimir Zelensky had consolidated all of Ukraine's TV outlets. He imposed martial law and the state took control of all media. And furthermore, Zelensky dissolved rival political parties, as NPR reported. He banned 11 opposition political parties, including, by the way, all of the major left-wing parties, all of the socialist and communist parties were banned in Ukraine because they were deemed so-called pro-Russian parties. Meanwhile, Zelensky has overstayed his term in office, which was supposed to end in May 2024. He has continued without a democratic mandate, and the major French newspaper Le Monde referred to Zelensky as, quote, a president with no term end. In fact, two former U.S. diplomats published a very revealing article in Newsweek in 2023 titled, "Ukraine Sure Does Not Look Like a Democracy Anymore." I want to read a few highlights from this article. It notes.
Now, keep in mind, Zelensky is the president of Ukraine. He's been back and forth over here collecting trillions of dollars. Now, a theory that I have is Zelensky could very well be playing the United States. We're so arrogant to think that they would not be in cahoots with one another. Like, that's not a possibility just because we're providing them with military issue missiles and all this trillions of dollars at the taxpayer's expense, might I add. But, be that as it may.
Notes that in May 2022, the Ukrainian parliament passed a law formally banning all opposition parties President Volodymyr Zelensky signed the law. Among the parties that were banned included the opposition Platform for Life party, which had 10% of the seats in parliament. Furthermore, another 11 banned parties include the Socialist Party of Ukraine, the Progressive Socialist Party of Ukraine, the Union of Left Forces, and the Communist Party of Ukraine. All have been banned under the right-wing NATO-backed regime. Furthermore, it notes that Ukraine has banned elections. Ukraine has put the democratic process itself on hold since declaring martial law in 2022. Furthermore, it notes that democracies are not supposed to censor the media, but the Ukrainian government in February 2022 ordered the 9 largest television networks in Ukraine to combine their news operations into a single state-controlled news program called Telemarathon. In April 2000.
See, all of this is globalistic that I believe is at the direction of the United States. Like they're unionizing everything and they're centralizing everything, even the media. So that goes to show you for a government to do that, how important the media is. I'm gonna speed up a little bit. U.S. wants Russia military weakened. Ukraine invasion. You know, this stuff is crazy. But as the title says, you know, Ukraine is a gold mine with all these minerals that the U.S. cannot afford to lose to their competitors, China and Russia.
Very clearly that the United States wants to weaken Russia in Ukraine. That point is obvious, but it's not just political, it is also economic. US investors, big corporations, big asset managers like BlackRock on Wall Street have made many billions of dollars in profits over the war in Ukraine. And I discussed this in a previous video and a report, which I will link to in the description below, looking at how Ukraine is being sold to Wall Street. And back in 2022, Zelensky symbolically rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. And he announced that Ukraine was open for business, as he said. And he also revealed that with the backing of the US government and right-wing economists in the US and big corporations, that Ukraine was offering $400 billion worth of investments, selling off state assets for pennies on the dollar. Now, for context, Ukraine's GDP is under $200 billion, and yet it's offering $400 billion in investments, more than 2 times the size of the entire country's GDP, of all of Ukraine's economy. And asset managers on Wall Street, like BlackRock, which have trillions of dollars of assets under management, they invest the wealth of rich people in order to make them richer and richer. Well, meanwhile, BlackRock and other Wall Street firms are investing many billions of dollars in Ukraine, and they are profiting from this.
So we get the gist of that. You know what I'm saying? It's all about money and power. Ukraine just so happens to be sitting on a lot of minerals that the United States and other worldly leaders would like possession of. And I just wanted to highlight that because people are losing their lives in this war. Shout out to Muse. I see you, Muse, Black Brother Muse in the chat. I totally agree. I'm convinced it's the government versus the people. But see, this is also exactly what the mainstream media is not telling us. You know, we're trying to get, you know, control over that nation and also we're trying to purchase that nation. Like and then you look at the taxes that are being raised over here in America, not only with us sending trillions of dollars over there just to grease the president of Ukraine's pocket, but also to fund these wars that other organizations like BlackRock, you know, create all these United States issue missiles and weaponry for these people to buy to fund to, you know, fight these wars. So they triple and quadruple down on their profit. You know what I'm saying? And the reason we've been interested in Ukraine is right there. You know, we could dive deeper in that and have a deeper conversation with it. So far, sis, what do you have to?
Hmm.
What are your thoughts about that? Like, why we over there in the first place?
Well, I told you before, months ago, how I thought that it was just something not right with just Ukraine. And I remember how they basically left the border open, like, or they were allowing Ukrainians to come over to the United States, and they were, they were able to work. And I said something's not right, and I think too that is the reason why a lot of people think that they're, that Joe Biden at this point is trying to make it hard for Trump. I I agree, but then I have to somewhat disagree because there's too much money that the United States have tied up in Ukraine. So they're trying to force this war because think about it. For Zelensky, if this does happen to where Trump ends the war, I mean, look at the trillions of dollars that's been sent that Ukraine has really profited off of. So either way, and this is just my opinion, Trump is just like literally in the way of a gold mine of what they've been, and I think they've been doing this for years. I do. I think we're just kind of aware of it because we're always in the middle, and we always used to wonder, like, well, why are we going to war with these other countries that doesn't have anything to do with us? And now we see it's all about money and power. And I think that Trump is just literally trying to end it. He's in the way because we've never ever seen any politician that the way they going after this man is something. And I feel though as though the media, as we could see, they're not really speaking on this stuff. The information we gather, we have to gather it from media stations from other countries, that's kind of speaking on, what's going on. That's how we get our information. So that goes to show you they pretty much run the media stations. They run every single thing. And I think that they're pushing this, and I keep saying with Joe Biden, I think that he's just a puppet, which all the presidents that we've had has been puppets, and they are just getting the signals. They're getting the signals, and they're getting the okay to push forward certain things, because as we know, Trump has been saying the deep state, and these are the people with the billionaires that are putting money up, and they're getting certain things done. And I absolutely believe that is the reason why Trump, they're so adamant about getting this man out of the way because he interfered with their money.
Yep, absolutely. And right here we have Trump. You know, a shout out to the content creator OK Rick on YouTube. Trump drops emergency warning to prevent World War III, and this is one of the policies that is kind of prophetic when Trump said this, and then he got elected, and how all the other worldly leaders responded and was like, man, we want to end this war. We happy that Trump's in there. So I'm gonna let this play here.
We have never been closer to World War III than we are today under Joe Biden. A global conflict between nuclear armed powers would mean death and destruction on a scale unmatched in human history. It would be nuclear Armageddon. Nothing is more important than avoiding that nightmare. We will avoid it, but we need new leadership. Every day this proxy battle in Ukraine continues, we risk global war. We must be absolutely clear that our objective is to immediately have a total cessation of hostilities. All shooting has to stop. This is the central issue. We need peace without delay. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantle the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad, while they turn.
Now, didn't the man say that? He said they're trying to put in the media that, oh, we're protecting Ukraine because of democracy. That's the propaganda that they put in mainstream media. We owe them some type of democracy, but really you're just trying to buy greed. You're just greedy. Really, you're just trying to get the resources out of that country before your competitors get to it. The blood is on your hands because of your greed. Basically, it's not about democracy.
Turn us into a third world country and a third world dictatorship right here at home. The State Department, the defense bureaucracy, the intelligence services, and all of the rest need to be completely overhauled and reconstituted to fire the deep staters and put America first. We have to put America first. Finally, we have to finish the process we began under my administration of fundamentally
put America first. The American people, me, you, everybody that's watching, everybody that will catch this live later, we don't have anything to do with this, and our children being sent to fight in wars because of people's greed that we don't benefit from. We paying higher taxes and inflation because they're trying to get a hold of other resources. Where Donald Trump was in office, we have to keep in mind there were no new wars. The other people respect him as a leader here, and I trust his leadership to get us out of these wars. See what Joe Biden has done has made it virtually impossible. They put to avoid World War III by that executive order that he just mandated the other day, literally the other day, where Ukraine can use military issue United States written on the missiles, use them to strike Russia where it has United States written on them. You put Putin in a position where he has no choice but to fire back. So you just instigated that war 2 months before you leave office.
reevaluating NATO's purpose and NATO's mission. Our foreign policy establishment keeps trying to pull the world into conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia based on the lie that Russia represents our greatest threat. But the greatest threat to Western civilization today is not Russia. It's
not Russia. Russia wants to end the war. But you see how the propaganda machine makes Putin look like he's some type of warmonger when it's really the United States that's instigating this war. And Trump is saying it.
It's probably more than anything else ourselves and some of the horrible USA hating people that represent us. It's the abolition of our national borders. It's the failure to police our own cities. It's the destruction of the rule of law from within. It's the collapse of the nuclear family and fertility rates like nobody can believe is happening. It's the Marxists who would have us become a godless nation worshiping at the altar of race and gender and environment. And it's the globalist class that has made us totally dependent on China and other foreign countries that basically hate us. These globalists want to squander all of America's strength, blood, and treasure, chasing monsters and phantoms overseas while keeping us distracted from the havoc they're creating right here at home. These forces are doing more damage to America than Russia and China could ever have dreamed. Evicting the sick and corrupt establishment is the monumental task for the next president. And I am the only one who can do it. I'm the only one that can get the job done. I know exactly what has to be done.
I doubt, Joe.
Exactly. Let me know if there's still an echo. If y'all still hear echo, I'll try to clear that up. But we get the gist of that. So shout out to OK Rick for getting that. Like Trump basically illustrated everything right there, and you know, what the mainstream media has not been sharing with us is the fact that other nations have been preparing for a nuclear war. Um, you know, they're building bunkers in other nations. They have been passing out pamphlets in nations like Russia, Ukraine, North Korea to the citizens and on their media stations telling them what to happen just in case a nuclear war happens. Um, yeah, World War III was escalated, which the Ukraine actually did send U.S. missiles into Russia. Uh, so that was very deep, and I don't know if people understand how serious this situation is. Uh, Shout out to Queen Nisimo. I sent you the link on messages. Let me know if you want me to send it again. But yeah,
You know what? That's exactly why too. Um, they really want Trump out the way. You know, like because the things that we've been kind of uncovering, and just by running across, uh, information from the other countries with as far as the media information goes, pertaining to the United States. Trump is really he's letting the people know, and they just been keeping us so blind, bro. Like, in the information that they've been giving us, like even down to, I was telling you this morning, like, it's something ain't right. I said, even down to these celebrities that are leaving. And they say that and their thing is, we're leaving with Trump because Trump is going to be president. But I think it's something much bigger than that. And I think it's something that all of them know. And I told you it's either, because I don't think it has anything to do with Diddy. Like, that's just my opinion. If anything, it may be tied into some, uh, you know, trafficking, or or whatever that may be. But as far as like the sex tapes and all that, I don't believe that. I believe we are all just sitting ducks at this very moment. And again, like you said, the other countries are preparing the citizens, for things that may take place. But the United States, we're so open, and the only thing that the media is really feeding us is dictatorship and racist and da da da. When a lot of these big celebrities and a lot of the politicians, you know what I'm saying? Like, they a lot of them are leaving the country because there's something that is going to take place, and I believe it. I don't know when, but we really gonna have to pray, because it's something that is going to. I feel like that's gonna take place.
hmm absolutely. I think that okay, we got Queen Nismo. What else is? Shout out to Lex.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey, how y'all doing?
all
Hey,
right.
sis.
How
Hey,
y'all feeling? I'm sorry, I took me
Good.
a nap. I was trying to take a nap. I didn't realize it was that late.
It's okay.
yeah.
I hope everybody doing good in the chat. But from what I did hear, my brother, you keep doing a good job. You and sis, y'all doing an awesome job.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yes, keep doing
Thank
a
you.
good job.
I did want to kind of present something here too. While we got us three here, um, and basically, when Biden gave the green light to fire those missiles, um, well, Ukraine has fired those missiles into Russia. Um, as it states here, a lot of people felt like World War III had officially started, and I just want to play this because this illustrates what the rest of the world is preparing for that we are not preparing for. Like Mika just stated.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are confronting a chilling reality, I think, in the United States. Yesterday, when we were covering this, or at least the buildup of this, someone left a comment here on our channel that said, I don't think 90% of the people in the United States understand how severely bad this is for the United States right now. I think you're absolutely right about that. I think most people are just kind of living their lives. They don't realize what these masterminds, these warmongers, these criminals are doing right now in Washington, D.C., leading us into war, the very real possibility that the world is inching closer to nuclear war at this hour. This is not hyperbole or fear-mongering. The fact is, it starts with a stark warning tonight from Russia. A few hours ago, sirens blaring all over Ukraine. Russian strikes coming and people preparing for massive strikes, air raid sirens sounding across Ukraine, including in the capital city, massive Russian strikes coming. Russia is preparing massive strikes across the entire country. They've already struck, as Colonel McGregor told us yesterday, the western part of the country, knocking out all sorts of electricity grids and power supplies. So you want a cold winter? Because this is about to happen. And the United States doesn't give a rat's ass about the people of Ukraine at all, full stop. And these people are going to freeze to death this winter, thanks to Antony Blinken, thanks to Jake Sullivan, thanks to the demented President Biden, who's basically conceded power to the deep state in Washington, D.C. And State Department officials today are getting rid of the embassy, are closing the embassy, the United States Embassy, saying, quote, out of an abundance of caution, the embassy will be closed, and embassy employees are being instructed to shelter in place. That's going to work, sheltering in place. When these massive missiles start coming in, sheltering in place, you're going to be fine there inside the embassy. Meanwhile, Russia is preparing for nuclear war, folks. Like, they're not taking this lightly. We are in the United States. People are just still going to Target and living their day, which is fine. Like, live your life and work your jobs, but make demands of your government to stop this madness. So Russia has started mass producing mobile nuclear bunkers capable of housing dozens and protecting against shockwaves and radiation.
So what are we doing to prepare?
And to add to what he just said, for the people that don't that think that this, when he said this, this hadn't escalated to the point to where it is now. People, Putin has now taken this. Not just Putin. You have other people. That's let's start over. Putin is part of NATO. Why in the hell are we giving Ukraine, who's not part of NATO, giving them the green light to fire into Russia? Russia requested that the United States don't get involved. Russia requested that Ukraine don't allow the enemy to come next in our back door. But they all had a plan. And remember, Ukraine's president is part of Hollywood.
Yep.
Ukraine president is part of Hollywood. So let's fast forward. When this man said this was geared to Ukraine. Now it has escalated, people. He said the United States need to prepare for what's to come into your back door. Because when you release that missile into Russia, for those that don't understand how this works, there's a code on every missile. And before Ukraine can release that missile, the United States have to give the okay for it to be released. That code have to be entered in before it's released, which means that even though Ukraine is sending it, it's literally coming from the United States.
Yep.
And shout out to Black Perspective and all of those people that have family members that's in the armed forces. They're scared now for their families. We're scared for their families. I'm scared for my own family. And for those that think that this is just part of for Ukraine, no. If you have an 8-year-old a daughter or son, let me tell y'all how serious this is. This is going to require that your 8-year-old son or daughter will be drafted because we don't have enough people. Trump has been warning us of this. But you let that demented man sign just literally just do whatever the hell he wants to do because y'all want to sit here and go along with the nonsense that the man is crazy. You ain't that crazy.
You ain't that crazy when you're giving executive orders to have missiles launched into Russia by way of Ukraine that have United States written on them. And like we said, this this can blow up at any moment right now because what they have done is put Putin in a non-compromising position.
And he
So
requested on numerous
Uh-huh.
occasions. He requested, and he said, and we heard this man, y'all. We heard this man said he's not meeting with Putin. He don't need to talk to Putin.
Mm-hmm.
What the
Sure
hell you
did.
mean you don't need to talk to Putin?
But see, they want to make it seem as though Putin is the enemy. You
No, he's
understand?
not.
Like this man is not the enemy. It's the ones right here that's within our government are our enemy.
Our people done voted in.
Yep. I'm telling you, and what they do is like we said before, they use the racists, they've used the propaganda to really have people thinking one way when in actuality, it ain't even about the things that
That
they've
they
been feeding
present
us,
to the public.
that
It
they
ain't what
present
it
to
is.
us. It's not what it is. And I said before that these people, they're nothing but entertainers. They get if you look at their if you look at their net worth, these people get paid to present propaganda and it's pushed from the deep state, the same ones that are in control of everything that's going on now. So they're gonna
Including
always,
locking up our men.
yep.
Including let me tell you, they are so engulfed in what they got going on. These people could care less about Ukraine, the people that's from Ukraine. They're not telling everyone on mainstream media Ukraine don't have men there. These men have been killed.
So, which makes you wonder, and I said this, why did they leave the border open? Because, mind you, all of our troops, if war breaks out, our did apparently this is who they will have securing the United States.
And
The migrants.
along with the men that we got left here, that ain't mine ain't all gone, and it makes you wonder why this hooker was talking about giving the black people some goddamn marijuana. Lady, go sit down. We need these people impeached out of office now.
Exactly. And just imagine if that lady had been elected the president. The border being millions of people crossing them illegally unvetted. It ain't just the Venezuelans, it ain't just the Haitians. A lot of those people come from Russia, a lot of those people come from Iran, a lot of those people come from different nations that could be terrorists. We have not vetted them,
There you
so
go.
we don't know who is walking amongst us every day. So yeah, we on the other side of the ocean from these people that want to launch attacks, but we may have people right here in our own backyard because of the illegal immigration policies by the Biden Harris administration that is left us susceptible to potential foreign and domestic terrorists that can do anything at any moment. And by him escalating this war, and we're not being prepared for it, this could be catastrophic. And mind you, all of this is over greed. It's ways that we can conduct foreign policy to get resources from other nations the right way. But what they're trying to do is use certain bully tactics um, to instigate war, to get control and power instead of just going about it the right way. And we want to fix our economy. We want to, our everyday lives are being affected. We want to lower inflation. That's almost virtually impossible if we're in the midst of a World War III. And why is the mainstream media so quiet about this? All the Democrats that was out here, talking about Trump, saying he was the modern day Hitler, where they at on this issue?
And
They're
not
quiet.
just that, Jeff, they going so hard. I mean, these people wouldn't even let this man pass who he wanted and to work with him in his cabinet. Y'all are just these are the most demonic forces I've ever seen in my life, all the way. And I hate that I'm even saying this on a live stream because I am I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian over anything else. But these churches have lost their freaking way. They have lost their way, which means God have no other choice but to leave us to ourselves.
Yep. It's crazy. It's crazy what the church has become. And people know this. People in Hollywood, people in our government, they are fully aware of everything that's going on right now. And they're silent. Like Mika said earlier, you got Ellen DeGeneres and other celebrities leaving the country, but they're trying to paint it like they're leaving because Donald Trump is the president.
No, they leaving because they know that this is I'm sorry. Thank you for RFK. He has shared, for those that have not paid attention to what this man been saying. He said these people are money laundering.
Yep. Internationally.
I'm telling y'all, they've been doing this for a while. And that's why I'm saying, even now to Venezuela now, it makes you wonder, okay, what's over there that the United States, that the U.S. wants? Because now this border is open. Mind you, that's the same thing with Ukraine. Whenever you remember they started sending all the Ukrainians over here, and they
Yes.
can get Social Security, and they was able to get all the things that these illegals are able to get from Venezuela now. So
And
it
and
just
and, and
makes
Jessica Jackson called Johnson out. Dude, what you go to Venezuela for?
Hmm. That dude.
What were you
Wow.
over in Venezuela for?
And now we got how many undocumented illegal immigrants in Chicago?
Ooh,
When you were just
baby.
in Venezuela not too long ago. What up? We got Big Vi in the building. What's up, Big Vi?
Hey, nephew.
Yeah, on
Can
mute.
he hear us? He muted.
Fannie Willis did it. Fannie stole the money.
It's in a drawer. It's up
Yeah,
under her mattress.
under her mattress.
Cash Money G.
Cash Money G.
sorry about that, y'all. I got a bad service. I got dropped.
That's
Oh,
okay, sweetie.
What's up, Big Vi?
Just chilling, man. Waiting to go back to work in a few minutes, but I saw y'all was on. Like, damn, let me hop on right quick. I ain't got nothing to talk about. I'm listening.
Yes, you do. You got something to say. I know you got something to say, especially when you know what they doing to Rob, how they done took this man money and want to act like this man has committed all these crimes, but that's just to get these people money and do what they want to do with it because they feel like we not entitled to nothing.
Yeah, I mean that shit that Fannie Willis did with Young Thug Money, that was crazy. But this is that's a normal practice that these
And
people.
I keep saying they use the ones that look just like us. They put them in office and we just gather around them. And they be just as dirty
Mhm.
as all get out.
Yep. Yep. I'm gonna let this play a little bit more to give a little bit more
Okay.
context. We what they're not telling us, but they're apparently the rest of the world is being prepared for.
So, and as we speak, Russia is planning to move citizens into underground nuclear bunkers that they've already built. Let that sink in for a second. Thanks to warmongers in
Underground
DC,
bunkers,
the Russian
y'all.
government is taking active measures.
Underground bunker. Now we got certain celebrities here that are building bunkers in the last couple years, like Rick Ross and others that it's like, why are y'all building these? Is it something that y'all privy to that the rest of the rest of the country's not?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right now to safeguard its people against what it perceives to be an imminent threat of nuclear escalation. Protecting its people, Russia has now begun mass producing mobile nuclear bomb shelters that can protect against shockwaves and radiation from a nuclear blast. Take a look.
We got any of those?
Do we have any of those? I haven't seen any in the United States. Think about this for a second. Why would a global superpower with decades of military strategy and intelligence take such drastic action unless, of course, they believe this threat was real? They're not just doing this for what, shits and giggles?
I don't like that saying.
That's what my dad used to say from Baltimore. I'm going to do this for shits and giggles. But here's the part that should concern you even more. This isn't happening in a vacuum, folks. The warmongers in D.C. are playing a direct role in escalating tensions right now with reckless abandon. Overnight, the Biden administration doubled down on this plan on Ukraine using long-range weapons to attack deep inside of Russia. This morning, the Biden administration announced a new round of money being sent into Ukraine. Another $275
There we go. There we go.
Weapons package being sent to Ukraine. And of course, we know because
Wow. So the Biden-Harris administration announced another $275 million of taxpayers funded weapons package for Ukraine. Come on now. We're not paranoid.
But why? Why so much money? Why so much money? Why? When the US is way, way, way in the negative. We're in the negative.
I mean, we not in the negative. We so behind that the U.S. the note don't even have a value no more.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
So since you know that vibe, who own America?
There you go.
Oh, the Rothschilds, J.P. Morgan Chases, the Wells Fargos,
Rockefeller.
the Rockefellers.
Okay. Who
I
are
keep
all
telling
these? Hey,
people,
y'all just said, hey, hold
BlackRock.
on. You can't go that far, baby. You got to stop right there. So that means if y'all know these names, these are the same names that has been parts of what majority of Ukraine have been sold off to. Make that make sense, people?
but that's the biggest conspiracy of this lifetime that we're living. We sit over here and we brag about this country, and I keep telling people, like I told my dad, me and him had a back and forth about this shit. I say this is not a fucking country. You got to look at the United States just like Walmart or Sam's
This is a
Club or
business.
Target. This is a fucking corporation of business. That's it. That's all that people live in. But at the end of the day, they're gonna always do what benefits the business of the United States, not the people.
And what have Donald Trump been telling us? I am just in the way. They don't want me. They want y'all.
And then you think about it, they get a bunker, right? You drop a nuke, and you got a bunker. You talk about rebuilding the fucking country? You gonna do it? Oh, the few people that survive gonna rebuild the country? You're not gonna survive. You're not gonna live forever. That's the whole thing about it. That's why I gave my life to God, because I know I'm not gonna live forever. You can't avoid death whenever it comes to you. That's one thing that has been undefeated. Goddamn. It's two things that's undefeated. Birth and death.
Birth and death. Sure as you born, you gonna die.
Don't give a damn how much running you do. Underground, overground, SpaceX, wherever you want to go. You ain't gonna live forever. Your body has a time limit on it. And
This
when that
earthly
clock strikes,
tabernacle has to be dissolved.
man, I just it's crazy. It's mind blowing. You know, and that's why I say, like, you got these people that's over that run oversee this business. Man, them people, they last thing is they last concern is about what's going on in this country. They want to keep willing and dealing. They like an auction.
But see, they're thinking about their generational wealth, meaning they're thinking about their children's children. They don't want us to think about our children. They want us to solely depend on the government. And when the government decide they want to cut us off, they cut us off.
But the government ain't nothing but a fucking payday loan.
That's my point.
That's it, Vi.
That's all the government is, a payday loan.
But then you get mad when you hearing Benny Johnson talking to the young black men saying, no, we don't want nothing from the government. We want to make our own. We want to create our own. Well, why you want to do that? Why you want to do that?
But what has the government done? The government has the government has only affected one group of people in a bad way. All other groups of people, all other ethnicities has benefited from what the government has implemented. But when what the government implemented in the black community, it was to separate. But what the government implemented in other communities, it brought them together. It's so crazy that I tell people, like, now we have really the black community has become a battle of the sexes. It's man versus woman now. It should have never the order has been lost, because now you got women thinking they can do what men do, and you got men want to be women.
Yep.
So now that the order is, once you lose the order,
you've lost the battle.
Once you lose the order, shit has to be destroyed to be reestablished. And this is what it is. I tell, man, this shit is so much deeper. I say, even the parents have lost the order with their children. The children disrespecting the parents. The government has single-handedly destroyed the black community, all the way down from the parents to the children, to the way we look, the way that we dress, to the way that we operate.
But y'all, what did I just tell y'all earlier? I said the ones that's going to pay the most will be us, because we have forgotten where we come from. And when we try to assist you or help you to get to understand that we got to get back to where what we know and what's right, but we don't want to do that because we feel like you getting into my business. I ain't gonna get into your business, because see, I promise you, when Putin hit that dropped that bomb, you ain't gonna have no business.
And it's shit so crazy though, Jeff, y'all. Now, the same, not, and this is, I promise, man, and it hurt me to my soul, but it's the reality that I have to live through when it comes to Martin Luther King and the respect level. When I didn't know no better, it made it. When I didn't know no better, it made
It
sense.
made sense.
But when I learned different, when I learned better, it made
Sis,
no
what did we
fucking
just
sense.
say? What did
We
we
just
just
said
say? We
that.
just
Yup.
said that.
Just said that.
But there
That's
Now,
is
if
true.
you
no
think about this,
holiday
think
for
about it.
Malcolm
ooh,
X.
Malcolm
Think
X.
about it. If if segregation never happened, we would still be thriving. We still would be we still would be independently living and growing in this country. We may have had to face other obstacles that they put before us, but the order of which the man first, then the woman would have never been lost. See, when they went and said we need women to have the same rights, but it was different though. The way that black women was taught to understand that having the same right is you can do just as much for yourself as this man can do for you. What white women were taught was you gonna be a stay-at-home mama
That's it.
and we gonna take care of you while your husband go out here and work and fight in this war. But for the black woman, her understanding was totally different to government assistance. We gonna do this, but we need you to disown this man. We need you to make this man feel less than a man, because at the end of the day, we taking care of you. We can do more for you than what this man could ever do for you. Now understanding when you break that bond between that man and that woman, now that child,
That's
now you got
family. That go to family.
a broken child. I
That
mean,
definitely.
I'm gonna tell y'all something happened to me before, right? Because I have children. I went to child support court one time. And this shit was so ironic. This was years ago. Me and my son mama, we was cool as hell. We rolled down there together and everything. When we went inside the family courtroom, me and her was together. We was sitting there talking, chopping it up. So when the family court, the officer come out to get us, she was in shock. We go back into her office. Guess what the first thing she said to me?
What was that?
Y'all are the first black family that I've seen. Y'all are the first black parents that I've seen come down here and was arguing, trying to tear each other heads off.
Mm.
Man.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell you how powerful it was for when this lady saw me and my son mama coming there together. I was paying like $800 and some a month on child support. The lady, this is what the court ordered me to pay. The caseworker said, she said, well, it seems like you and him have you and her have a good relationship. And my son mom was like, we good. We, you know what I'm saying? We just pretty much my son needed medical insurance and child care, whatever. So the lady told us, she shut her door. She said, look, if mom agree, we can bring this all the way down to the minimum of that you can pay $50 a month. From $800, them people have me paying $881. But the simple fact that me and my son mama came inside of that courthouse and me and her was together and we were getting a loan, and the woman said that we were the first parents that came in there that wasn't battling with each other. Man, this lady walked me through the courtroom. She rewrote my order up, walked me through the courthouse, took me to the judge, me and my son mama together. The judge signed off on it and put it in, filed into the clerk. Man, that lady didn't have that to do, but she saw something. She saw something that struck her heart to make her do what she did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was people in there arguing, and that's a part when we talk about the government. The child support agency is a part of the government, which is designed to have black men. Well, I ain't gonna say it affect black men and black women mostly, but white people all people go through it. But when you see child support in the black community, that shit you probably look up the population rate of black men that's locked up for child support.
But you got a lot of it too. The sad part is, a lot of the weaponizing of the women
Mm-hmm.
is they use the child support out of from an emotional standpoint because they
Yes.
pissed off with whoever. They can get more from they can get actually more from the baby's father,
Without
but when
going
he
through
move
them.
on, whenever he move on and he get with somebody else, or they don't go their way, they want to go down there to the white folks, not realizing that.
And
Yeah.
what make a person, and this is something that I had to tell my son mama, when them people said I had to pay, them people, I'm telling y'all, no lie, in 2013, 14, 15, I was paying $1,500 a month in child support for 2 children. They maxed me out in 2 different states. I'm asking these people, how am I supposed to take care of my other kid? How am I supposed to
They
live?
don't care.
They do shit like that. Who gonna get up and go to work to get a fucking check stub that say, oh, you gross $1,200, but your take home is $300 some dollars. But your rent
Mm-hmm.
$1,200 some dollars a month. So if I'm getting paid every 2 weeks and I'm only bringing home $400, I don't even make enough to pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
So
But you
why
know
am I
what?
gonna get up
They
and
do
go?
that.
Why
Yeah,
am
they
I
do
gonna
that
get
to
up and
break
go
you
to work?
down.
They'll break you down.
They do that to break you down. So then
Okay,
what most men do once they broke down like that,
they
they feel
quit.
like they don't have no other choice. They either quit or what they do, they turn to the streets. Cause you got
Yeah.
Yeah.
good dudes that turn to the streets because they cannot afford to, keep up with this child support. And then, they
Exactly.
already working 12 to 14 hours a day. So then by the time, they got their taxes and all that. So then what option they have to eat? They gotta live. So it's just it's designed to break the man down.
Yeah,
But
but
then
when
you
we
got
look at
those
it,
that they break down that's trying, but then you got those that make it hard for those that's trying, because you got some of those that just don't do. They ain't gonna do
no.
to save their life. If they got it to do it, they still just won't do it.
And I say now, if a man can prove that he's helping and assisting with his child, I feel like he should stand a chance to say, I don't need this system to be able to provide for my child because I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But if I know guys out here I know guys literally who don't do shit for their kids, and the mama don't even try to go out them for child support because they be like, oh, he ain't gonna do shit. But the one that is got it, the one that do have a job, you fucking stressing him out though. The one that do help you, you giving him the blues. But the one you got a kid by that don't do shit, you don't even look for this motherfucker. Like, why? Why child support is a weapon? That's exactly why child support is a weapon. Well, if you fighting back, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fight back. But if you don't fight back, I don't even give a fuck. I ain't even worry about it. I'm like, this shit right here, literally, man, the government with this welfare and all that shit. And like I say, man, the welfare ain't nothing but taxpayer money. How y'all gonna tax us on some shit that we paying taxes
Thank you.
already?
Mm-mm.
You gonna take my money and give it back and tax me on what the fuck? Like, really? You really gonna do this? Like, I don't know what you just did. That's like
Thank you.
that's like me dropping my money and you helping me look for it, but it's under your foot.
Say the whole Wi-Fi, it's up part of that shoe.
Hey, man,
Ooh.
my money, man.
Hey, I'll give it to you when I get ready to give it to you.
Uh,
I'll issue it out to you.
Yeah, and that's all this system. That's all this system
And that's when I'm ready to bust you to the white meat. You gonna give me my money.
This motherfucking system then took our shit and helping us look for it. And you know, and it's fucked up. They take you like as a man, and that's why I salute any woman that's out there supporting black men or men in general, because men have it. Women talking about they got it hard. No, ain't no resources out. It's very minimal
If
resources
women
out
are
here for
having it
men.
hard, they want to have it hard.
Yeah,
Cause I can school you, baby, and
look here,
it wouldn't take but
you
one
know
day.
my situation. I got my son. I got my
Mm-hmm.
son. I moved. I didn't have no job. I didn't have no income. I didn't have
Yes.
nothing. I went to try to get medical. I tried to get some food stamps.
Yep.
I tried to get emergency assistance. People told me I didn't qualify for
He
nothing.
didn't qualify for nothing.
But if I was a woman with the same fucking credentials, y'all gonna give her everything and y'all gonna go find the daddy.
Sure will.
I mean, women, they thinking that it's and believe it or not, you guys, with everything that we're talking about now, even with this war that's going on, the reason why you got a lot of what we got going on now is because majority of the people down there at Capitol Hill are women, scorned, bittered women that just don't give one flying freaking nothing about nothing but what they want and how they want it. So, and that's in Joe Biden's head, telling Joe Biden, do it
With this
how we
sleepy
say
ass.
do it. And this is because you can't do that to Donald Trump. Donald Trump ain't finna listen to you. So therefore, they gon' mark Donald Trump as the monster. But anybody like a Barack Obama or Joe Biden uh, uh,
Say,
Bill
when
Clinton,
you
Bill
draining that
Clinton
swamp,
who
Nisa, man,
lied.
you a dangerous man, man. Look at Dick Gregory, man. That was a dangerous man.
Hmm.
Anybody that's speaking against that machine, boy, your ass got to go.
There you go. I said the same thing. Why you think this man done had 2 assassination attempts? Why you think he, the things that they're putting him through, even through the media? And I was saying, like, man, regardless of what they say about Trump, he came through like a tsunami. You think
I
about it.
don't care if
We would have
that
never.
baby. I'm still
They
gonna
talking about
ride with
he
Trump till
got
the
people.
wheels
They
fall
got people
off.
believe. Oh, he didn't do nothing but stamp his name on the stimulus
You
package,
are a
boy.
lie. You are a lie.
I
That
said, boy.
first check that everybody got, it was much bigger than that check Joe Biden went
But
down
it
to.
wasn't. But you got to realize, some more people don't understand the shit that Biden sent out was what Trump left to be sent.
Trump left the big. Thank you. Talk about it,
He
baby.
sure did.
But Joe Biden, but listen, Trump even said Joe Biden took y'all check down from what I told him that what I left in place. I left in place for y'all to get more. He said, no, you need less.
Sure did. He left $900 a week during COVID
That's what he
for
left.
people to get. And they went down when they got in there. They took it down. And I'm telling
And
you,
he did and drained the
Then,
reserve. We
then
had billions in the
they let
reserve.
people. Then they let child support take people shit too.
And they weren't supposed to do
They
that.
weren't supposed to
They
do it.
was not supposed to do that.
They weren't
but
Even if
supposed
you
see,
to.
owed the IRS, you was
No,
not supposed to get.
because
They
there was
weren't
a
supposed to take
crisis.
none of you. That was a
There was
crisis. That was a national
it was
crisis.
crisis. Yeah, but they allowed them people to take it. Even the inmates.
well, that's why
People
we
in jail got the money. Trump, Trump said, "Hey, Trump pulled an Oprah Winfrey shit. Everybody gets some money."
he did.
But then you
Niggas
sit up
sitting in
here
jail with
want to lie on
$1,200
this
on their book.
man.
I'm like, how the fuck I'm hearing from
Literally
my
lie
cousin
on
all of
this
a sudden?
man. Just
My
lying on this man. I mean, you're just lying.
My cousin
But
got
that
1,200 on his books. He calling like a motherfucker, man. What happened? I got a stimulus, man. The fuck, nigga? Who filed your shit?
Mhm.
They send the paper to the jail.
Yeah. And that's why you had all the black men that was in support of Trump. Cause they was like, we was living better up under Trump. No matter how they try
Man,
to paint this man, I sure was.
even the
They
drug
was
dealers want Trump back in there. They say Obama had to cause the drought. He had the prices too high around there. And people kill me with this shit with Trump, man. There's this misrepresentation. That man don't
that's
have a
it.
problem against Mexicans, man. That man, he love Mexicans. He say the motherfucker illegal ones is the ones that he don't that gotta go. That means they here not paying taxes. They not doing
They
nothing.
sucking up everything that we supposed to be getting. And I can't understand how we are these people out here talking about what we want them to stay. How you want them to stay and they taking away from you and your house.
But half of
Uh-huh.
the motherfuckers that want them to stay, they ain't gonna go to work anyway.
That part. That part right there.
And the fact that Trump even with the elderly, with their Social Security, he said he wasn't gonna tax it. He's trying
That's
to
what
give
he
them
said.
all their money.
All of
He's
their
not even
money.
gonna tax them. But
But
again,
you
they
gonna
don't talk
run
about that.
down there and vote for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris and this woman here can't even complete a sentence.
But again, y'all, when what we saying and what we talking about now, it goes back to the media. They have brainwashed people to believe everything, and that's the part there. Because, and I think and like I said, I think it all worked out the way it was supposed to work out for Trump not to get in 2020. Because now
Because God
people are
had to humble
seeing
him.
he
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 had to
had to
humble.
humble him. Not only that, you're right, he had to humble him, but he also had to wake up the American people to see
Yes.
what the government that you've been voting for, this particular party that you've been voting for. Look at what they've done within the last 4 years, 3.5 years in office. Our
But
country
don't
have
get us
never been this
wrong
bad.
now. They don't get us wrong. They did steal the election. He won in 2020.
And that's why he was challenging it. They kept saying, "Oh well," and you notice it was 11,000 votes, like we talked about in Atlanta. They said, but it
Yep.
was over 300,000 that wasn't accounted for. He won that election, but they
He
took it,
won
and
it.
you can see now with what's going on now. They were so adamant, and they thought that he was not going to win this election. That's why they brought, I feel like, those migrants over here to try to
Yep.
pull that scheme to allow them to replace the black vote, because a lot of black people were waking up. And they started, saying that, hey, we're not going to, we see what's going on now. You understand? So nobody can continue to brainwash us. And then it backfired on them because you have the media, the biasness. Like I said, what they've done, they've actually they put Trump in such a good position now because of the lies that they've been telling on this man and not really being honest. So now that's why the Bible says he'll make your enemies your footstool. Now
Enemies
you
your
got the same
footstool.
ones going up there to MSNBC, going to Mar-a-Lago to talk to him. Because guess what? Their jobs are at risk now. Nobody's watching their stations anymore.
And I ain't
CNN,
gonna
all of
watch
them.
it. I'm gonna be
Yup,
watching Voices for the Voiceless. How about that?
yup,
I don't need to watch them. I can watch Voices for the Voiceless, and they gonna tell me the truth.
yup. Because what we do, we don't get our information from the media. Because we know what we've uncovered. The media is not our friend. They're not. They just ain't our friend.
Exactly. And the
But again, Jeff, too,
thing about
like
it
we
is,
bringing this. Oh yeah, go ahead, bro.
oh no, no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying that's why we wanted to bring this to come, me and Jeff to discuss. That's why we wanted to come live today because we don't want nobody saying when this war break. Oh, this is Trump because he's been talking to Putin and all this because they love to put everything off on Trump and the media only put out the information that benefits them. And you got the American people thinking that, this whole thing with this war, that, because Trump is about to get in office.
Trump pushed
Mhm.
this off. No, Trump
Yes,
is the reason why it hadn't even really got to the point to where it's supposed to be is because of Trump. That's why you haven't seen Trump. Trump has been
That's
on the
it.
phone with this man night and day. Trump has been doing the president's job that the president say he ain't gonna do.
Yep.
And this man is over there signing off on checks to be sending to other talking about countries that's less fortunate than. Wait a minute, what you mean countries that's less fortunate? Last time I checked, when I go downtown, I'm seeing a whole lot of less fortunate. What you mean?
Exactly. And let's be clear on who we talking about here. And I got a video to show who we have making the decisions right now. This guy
Mhm.
wandering off in the jungle
In
at
the
G20.
in the bushes.
He in the bushes somewhere. Shout out to the content creator. I love Anton Daniels. He been on top of everything.
He attended the G20 summit in Brazil as one of his final appearances on the world stage before departing the White House in 2 months. But instead of commanding the spotlight as
Jeff,
the
can you
leader
get
of
it
the
bigger? Can
mighty
you
and
make it bigger?
powerful United States, Joe Biden
Oh, yeah.
was largely ignored by fellow world leaders and even mocked by the press. This was most clearly seen during the group photo where Joe Biden was MIA, but the leaders didn't bother waiting for him to show up, leading to a shocked press pack.
Your friend, where was he? They're telling Biden, they're telling him to wait for Biden, guys. Oh my God.
They looking for Biden. All the world leaders are standing around and take a picture, and they don't even know where he at.
They looking all in the trees for him.
Do you see him, Joe? Far left. Left to the left of the palm tree. Oh my God. But they took it. Yep. It's right there.
How embarrassing is
Joe
this?
is behind the palm tree right now.
How do you become so inept? How do you become so crazy? How do you become so disillusioned to where you miss a photo op at the G20 with all of the world's leaders? India, China, France, Canada, Mexico. You even seen the new president of Mexico up there, Claudia Sheinbaum, was there. And China is standing there in the front, exerting and showcasing a level of power and control. And Biden is over there confused and the palm trees trying to figure out where he is. He also later, and I was actually having this conversation on the Millionaire Morning Show, make sure y'all tap into that. He also later was in the Amazon confused as to where he was walking off to, and people are laughing at him. And so they, as the leaders, tried to, or the reporters, and the photographers was trying to get all of the leaders to come back to take a second photo once they realized that Biden wasn't there. And where in the world would you ever, in any way, shape, or form, ever say, oh my God, you know what I'm saying, Trump? You would notice that Trump was missing. They noticed that Biden is missing. He over in the palm trees, wandering around in the forest in the Amazon. And this is the thing that Trump was saying during his campaign speech. He was saying that no world leaders actually respect Joe Biden. They look at him as a fool. They look at him as a lame duck president, and they look at him as an idiot. And this comes directly on the heels after he's authorized strikes from Ukraine deep into Russian territory, to where Putin then says, oh, well, this is an escalation of war. Now,
So let's make sense of this. If you're this, incapacitated, that you don't even know where you're at, other world leaders are looking for you at G20, big event where all the world leaders come together and take photo ops and discuss worldly issues. You're nowhere in sight. You're somewhere wandering around the jungle. but you just, 2 or 3 days prior to this, you just basically escalated World War III. Like, who's running the nation?
So
Who's
so
running
no
the
no
country?
no no. Jeff, hold on. Okay, it's something you just said right there that I gotta pin. Go back to what you just said. Repeat that how you just said it. If you can. Repeat it, please.
2 or 3 days prior to this event, Joe Biden just, escalated the war by giving Ukraine the green light to strike Russia with U.S. military missiles. But this
Okay,
guy's so
pause.
okay.
Are you really incapacitated?
Thank you.
Are
Thank
you
you.
playing
Thank you.
incapacitated?
I was just about to say that. I
Now
was
you
just about
playing.
to say that. Hmm. I told you I believe that man and all of them. They just been playing in our face. Ain't no way in the world. And is it strategically so Kamala can get on up in there? You
Where
hear me?
is Kamala?
So hmm.
Where
I'm
is Kamala?
sorry y'all can't make me. She in Hawaii living it up like it's golden. And you how much debt? You done put the Democratic Party in how much debt?
Hmm. 1 point something billion. And now that's what you accumulated out your campaign running for president, but now you're 20 million in debt. How does that even happen in less than 100, well, a little over 100 days of campaign?
Now we have to have all options on the table, including nuclear options. Idiot, crazy.
The internet exploded with this commentator highlighting China's President Xi Jinping front and center of the photo. He said, "Pretty clear which superpower leader thinks he is bossing the G20 and no Biden in sight." And it wasn't only world leaders throwing shade at Biden. The world's media mocked him too. This commentator said, "Foreign media mocks Biden as they film him totally stranded and lost at G20. Everyone walked off on him, and the disrespect continued when photographers tried to
They
get
don't
the
respect
leaders
him.
back to retake the photo to include Joe Biden. But no one listened and simply walked off. This commentator said the G20 took their photo without Joe Biden. When they finished and tried to get the leaders back in place and wait for Joe, they still all walked off the stage. The reporters were shocked. The Joe Biden and Kamala Harris administration never got any respect for 4 years.
And for some reason, y'all think that this administration was just really controlling what was going on in the world. Historically, people respected the United States of America as the greatest country on the face of this earth, not just as an opportunity to take advantage of. Historically, they've always looked at the leaders from the United States of America, and the fact that we even had an election to where we considered Kamala Harris to become president of the United States of America. And then previously, you had, what was her name? Oh, Hillary Clinton. You know, the one that they tried to give us as a makeup for Bill Clinton getting caught in the White House with one of his staffers. Yeah, that Hillary Clinton. That was even less qualified on paper, but at least she could have a coherent thought. Then they tried to give us Kamala Harris as a diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we got women and black women getting mad at us while leaders on the world stage have no respect for us whatsoever. And they don't even come back to take the photo, which he should have been there in the first place. They don't even come back to take the photo because they have no respect for him.
And how important is that on a world stage where they have zero respect for the leader of the free world, so to quote unquote?
But bro, do we have respect? Do we have respect?
The- hey, do we is the question. And this is the guy that just initiated World War III by proxy. And we're sitting back dealing with people that are questioning our judgment as to why we voted for President Trump. When this guy can't even uh, get stand up.
He can't find his way to the just to take a picture.
I'm just saying, this is crazy. It's insane.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris administration never got any respect for 4 years. And after missing the photo, Joe Biden was still seen wandering around, seemingly very confused and eventually abandoned by Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. And to add insult to injury, earlier in the summit, Joe Biden had an awkward encounter with a native in the Amazon.
Thank you.
I mean, he cut up real bad. Look at that.
You don't even know what's going on. You don't even know where he's at. You don't even know the customs. You speak more language. Who is his handlers? Somebody get this guy a blanket. And this is the guy that's sitting here talking about what we're supposed to be doing.
He disappeared into the jungle, refusing to answer questions from the press about his recent bombshell Ukraine announcement that has many people worried about an.
Wow. I'm just saying. I mean, we get the gist of that.
And y'all, he literally went in the bushes. He was all up in them bushes.
In the bush.
He know what he was doing though. I don't think that. I think that was just,
Oh,
ain't
yeah,
no way
yeah.
they put him out there like that. Just like they did whenever he was going, whenever they had him debating Trump. They knew they know exactly
He
what
knew
they
what
did.
yes, because they strategically plan ahead. They don't just haphazardly do things. Everything is strategically done. They know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They absolutely do. And by him giving that green light, Ukraine actually did fire missiles into Russia, and then Putin responded, and I have that here as well. So this is just crazy, and I want to play this, just a little bit of it, so just of Putin's reaction. It says Putin fired intercontinental missile at Ukraine and could carry nukes in response to the UK missile. The United States let Ukraine see. See, Russia fired missiles. I mean, they put Putin in a situation where he had no choice. I mean, what was he supposed to do? You firing missiles at him, he gonna fire back. On November 21st, that was just yesterday.
And these people have to protect themselves. They voted a leader in to protect them. They didn't vote a leader in to just leave them to themselves.
Exactly.
And to know that the United States is they instigating this. They're the instigator behind all of this. You start, it's like a bully, let me bully, and in hopes, I hope that they just, because then it's war, it's on from there.
Yep. And just
And they
imagine.
know that if the war kicks off, a full-blown war kicks off, especially within the United States, uh, Joe Biden cannot leave office.
Bingo.
Bingo. And this is world news. This is what the mainstream media is not telling us, not preparing us for. Um, you know, thank God that Trump is in talks with Putin, to try to de-escalate the war, but without, any type of compromise with the Biden Harris administration for the next 2 months. Who knows how long Trump can keep them under wraps? I mean,
Well,
what's
that
next?
man ain't finna let nobody keep bombing his country and he don't do nothing.
Exactly.
It's only so much talking that Trump can do. It ain't about you, Trump. Now it's about my people over here.
And that's what he said. He said, I respect the upcoming president, but at the end of the day, I have to continue to look out for the better of my people. And if you not gonna get that thing that y'all got over there in check, then I don't think you need to be talking to me. You need to be talking to who y'all got in as a leader right now. But can't nobody even find him.
Crazy, just crazy. And what the mainstream media owes us as citizens is at least to be prepared for what may happen, and they're not even talking about it. The Democratic Party, for sure, definitely is not talking about it. They still crying over the election, over who won. But what about you people want to sit up here and tell me about Medicare and all this other stuff? It's not gonna matter if we sitting up there getting bombed with nuclear weapons because we instigated.
And make sure you tell little Ricky that too, because little Ricky over there talking about we gonna die. Yeah, we gonna die. Oh yeah, we gonna die. Under y'all's leadership, we gonna die.
Yeah,
But we also know Lil Ricky is a paid coon too. He's paid to continue to keep distraction going, just like Al Sharpton, all the rest of them.
He doing a live video from his mansion telling us what we better do, how we better do it. I think you better just stop talking to us because
exactly.
you don't know my struggle.
And they quiet. They quiet on what's really going on. That's the thing that I don't understand. You got time to come
And
out
I
here and
think it's not fair. It's not fair. I'm just speaking in general. And a lot of other people may feel different, but I just don't think it's fair because we do have elderly people that still look at the Democratic Party as the party of truth that's going to tell them the truth. And when you got family members that's trying to tell them the truth and can't get through to them, you just hope that somebody like Lil Ricky and mainstream media will have the heart to come out and say, look, we've lied to you. We have lied to you. This is the truth.
But that won't happen whenever they're probably you got George Soros in them that are probably part ownership in their stations. Like I don't think
I
Ricky
mean,
quite owned his station.
me personally, I'm just saying, if I know that what I'm doing is going to cause harm to so many families and these families are lost because of me, I think at some point I'm going to have to say, you know what? It's either do the right thing or keep doing the wrong thing. And I would hope that some of these people will learn to do the right thing because as we just stated, when you telling people we going to die under Trump, you need to know you going to die too. So when you die, you need to know where you going and that you're not going to hell based upon lying to people.
Hmm.
yep.
But
And what I
again, we could say the same thing about the mainstream media too, because they should tell the people the truth. But when you got these people of power that runs these networks and these stations, and they're not, it's almost like it literally reminds me of a big well, that's what it is, a big corporation. And what they would do, they will work a person knowing that they're going to fire them
Yes.
that day and work them their whole shift, okay? And they know what's going on with them. But they won't tell them anything. And they've known this weeks and weeks and weeks that it was gonna come down to them firing them. And they work them the whole day and then they fire them. That's how basically what's going on now. They won't tell us anything until it's just too late. And if they
But
tell us then.
But then that's when I would hope my and I have to speak to my own people, my black people. We better get back to the as they call it, the grassroots, our roots, and to understand who we are and where we come from. We were believers in Jesus Christ. Our people couldn't read at one point, but they trust God in every aspects of their lives. And when you trust God, he will give you discernment. He will give you what you need and give you an understanding to know when you've been lied to. But when you so far away from God, you don't know when you've been lied to. You will be lied to for the remainder of your life because you have taken yourself so far away from God. So, in order for God to get you where he needs you to be, he's asking that you start trusting him first.
Mhm. Absolutely. And what we're going through as a nation right now, we definitely need to be prayed up. We need to pray for our nation, pray for President Trump and his administration. We need to pray for not only peace in our nation, but worldwide. We need to be um,
And
aware
Trump
of what's
said it. He said it. He said, God gonna bring us back. He said, because we were not built upon what people keep saying that no, we was built up on knowing and understanding that God is our only source,
Mhm.
which is why every leader is being sworn in under the King James Version. Everybody may not believe in the King James Version, but that is the word of God.
Absolutely. And then we got leadership like this here. We got uh, Brandon Johnson in Chicago. You know, I want to share this with the people, and we're about to close out in a few. Um, but Chicago mayor $300 million tax increase for the migrants sparks outrage. So, this is a little bit off the topic, but still something that we need to be aware of with these
Jeff, that
sanctuary
name
cities.
right there is one of the investment companies of Ukraine. For those
Boom.
people that don't know, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now to NBC5 investigates, which for months has followed the money trail tied to Chicago's migrant mission. Total spending now tops more than $400 million.
Now, despite the creation of a city spending website, it's still not exactly clear where all of that money has gone.
A few moments later.
I won't raise your property taxes.
Then candidate for mayor, Brandon Johnson.
A few moments later.
Mayor Brandon Johnson was more than 40 minutes into his speech before he broke the bad news to homeowners across the city.
This budget currently includes a property tax increase of $300 million to fund and keep our commitment to fund not just our pension contributions, but to fund the future of our city.
A few moments later.
Good afternoon.
I want to know, how does it feel that Trump is in office right now? You see the feds need to address you, DOJ need to address you, and hopefully Donald Trump will address you. Because you're going to protect the undocumented, while you're going to allow for the citizens in Chicago to suffer under your, 33%?
For a purpose and not for you to go touching it with $300 million that you want to siphon out of the citizens' pockets. Get rid of the illegals, and that'll take your money right back.
A few moments later.
But first, breaking news at City Hall, Mayor Brandon Johnson's property tax.
Well, we see how the federal policies has an immediate effect on the local level as well with the illegal immigration. And then we have certain individuals that are in position like Chicago's mayor, Brandon Johnson, who has accepted hundreds of millions of dollars at taxpayers' expense that wants to continue that policy in direct defiance of the president that says that, hey, we about to get rid of these illegals. If they want to come through, they're going to have to come through the proper process. But we're going to have to clean it up for the people that are paying into this society. But hey, we got this going on. This guy want to raise people. He already done raised property taxes by so much of a percentage that people can barely afford it. And he wants to do another 300 million on top of that.
tax hike is rejected by City Council.
It was an increase the mayor called to balance the budget. Sabrina Franza joins us live. Sabrina, a lot has happened in the last hour.
Jim Marie, it is unanimous. Every single alderperson voted it down, the mayor's $300 million property tax proposal. They say they have plenty of ideas. Now Mayor Brandon Johnson is going to be forced to listen to them.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson spent $400 million on migrants and now wants to raise taxes to pay for his generosity. Let's talk about it.
Begin with some breaking news on the Chicago City budget. It could be short nearly $1 billion. We just learned that's the shortfall Mayor Brandon Johnson is projecting for the 2025 budget.
And that means the city will need to make some tough financial decisions. A nearly $1 billion shortfall. That's what the city of Chicago is facing for their 2025 budget. Mayor Brandon Johnson saying the city needs to find $982 million.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. See, we have two political parties here.
Exactly. Like this is insane. And like Jay Rogers said, look at all the layoffs. Boeing, Pepsi, Samanto, Tire, UPS, and Advanced Auto Parts closing 700 stores. How many people have lost their jobs due to this these policies and this inflation? You know, I'll drop the link just in case anybody want to come up for a minute. But yeah, you know, absolutely. And then, you know, $300 million tax increase is insane. You know, who's going to pay for that? The taxpaying citizens. Just to protect illegal immigrants. If we do anything illegal, we going to jail. But you want to protect illegal immigration, it makes no sense. So one only knows you come to the conclusion that you are benefiting financially. You have an incentive to keep the illegals in this city of Chicago. But hey, you know, I just wanted to share some of that with y'all right quick. If nobody want to chime in or discuss this in further depth, I'll let it play a little bit more.
Here in the United States, we have the Democrats and the Republicans. Now, when it comes to the southern border, Democrats are let everyone come in and we can take care of the world. So you know the story. Chicago, New York, and other left-wing cities claimed that they wanted migrants to come there. They wanted open borders and claimed that migrants were welcome, no matter where they came from. Here is the Chicago Mayor, Brandon Johnson, explaining how migrants are welcome in the city and they can handle it.
We know the strength of a city is determined by how we treat the most vulnerable. And so we choose to be a strong city. We must reject a zero-sum formulation between investing in those who have been here for decades and supporting those who have been sit here on a bus even this morning. We can do both, Chicago, and we can all thrive together.
Now, the same message was coming from other liberal states like New York, where the governor essentially begged migrants to come to New York.
We want people to come here, despite where they came from or despite the circumstances that drove them to this country and to this state. We say you are welcome here. We are welcome with open arms, and we'll work to keep you safe. We'll not only house you, but we'll protect you. And the richness of the culture and the diversity and the food and the restaurants that we know are going to be coming because of these efforts are beyond measure. It's an extraordinary part of our story, and it's woven into the story of New York, and it makes us more vibrant.
Now, this virtue signaling was great for politics, and since almost no migrants were coming to New York and Chicago, but were all staying at the southern border, then they could call the Republicans racist, and they could deny that stricter border policy was necessary. There were no consequences. But the governors in those border states came up with a solution. If cities like Chicago and New York wanted illegal immigrants, then let's send them there. This was a win-win. Those cities get the migrants, and they also get the problem that come with those migrants.
Now, when has this ever been an issue in the middle of the country, a city like Chicago or New York, where they're not nowhere near the border? They started to bust them in and fly them to the middle of the country, spread them out throughout the country. It's just insane. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave that right there. But yeah, like the title says, we're basically on the brink of World War III. And what mainstream media is not telling us is that, you know, there has been a green light for World War III by the Biden-Harris administration by way of proxy war between Ukraine and Russia, where military missiles were approved by our government to go inside of Russia to instigate that war, that have missiles that have United States written on it, that force Russia into a state where they have to respond to defend their land. And it's all over money and power and greed that resides in Ukraine that we have absolutely nothing to do with. And that's at the taxpayers' expense, while other nations are preparing themselves with bunkers underground, pamphlets on how to deal with nuclear war. We're just sitting here like sitting ducks. I mean, it's insane. I just think it's imperative that we not only educate ourselves, but educate others of what we may be facing with. So I just wanted to come live, me and Mika, and share that with you guys. But we're itching up on 2 hours. I didn't want to do this too long today, but I thought this was something that was very necessary. We may be able to, as this develops, we'll be able to share more with you guys. But yeah, Mika, so talk to me, sis. What's your final thoughts as we close out?
Well, it's a great live. I really enjoyed our live, and thank you guys for tuning in with us today. Um, I mean, at this point, the only thing that we can do is try to band together. Just the information that is needed, we share it, amongst those that are willing to listen, because some of those, some people are still just in denial or don't really care about what's really going on around. So we just gonna have to trust God, continue to pray, continue to keep, President Trump in our prayers, and ask God to change the hearts of those that are in office right now. And just pray that they do right by the people, and not by their pockets and the power. So, you know, um, that's pretty much my final thoughts, and hopefully we'll be going live soon, like you said. Once we gather more information, and we do a little bit more research, and you know um, just continue to pray and uplift one another, during these times, because these are very difficult times that we're in right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, I want to thank everybody that came through. I am her, Lexington, J Rock. I want to thank Big Vi and Sandra for hitting the panel and chopping it up with us. We got Muse Black that came through, you know. So midday lives. I love what we do on the midday. So maybe we can make this a thing. Every Friday or something like that. We get some time during the afternoon to kind of chop it up and come in fellowship with the people. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, Mika hit it on the head, man. We gotta definitely stay prayed up. It's a spiritual battle that we're up against, and I believe in my heart and in my mind and in my spirit that we will be just fine. It's just we January 20th couldn't get there quick enough. But
Yep, that's true, bro.
yeah,
I
with
agree.
that, I guess we good. Peace and blessings, everybody. Voices for the voices. We love y'all, and we gonna see y'all very soon.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank
Voices for the voiceless. Yeah. Yeah. It's the voices for the voiceless, different points of view and different choices. We the voices for the voiceless. We speak voices for the voiceless. Yeah, yeah. It's the voices for the voiceless, different points of view and different choices. We the voices for the voiceless. We speak voices for the voiceless. Yeah, yeah. It's the voices for the voiceless, different points of view.